Well, shoot, let's get started, man. Blu Exile, how y'all feeling today, man?
Good, man.
How you doing?
Hey, bro, I cannot complain, man. Like I said, longtime fan of you guys' music, man, and being able to talk to y'all is a blessing, man. So I appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate it, man. Definitely.
I wanted to start, man. I know people ask you guys a lot of questions about you all's brand because it's become just an iconic brand, man. And I wanted to ask you guys a couple questions about how you guys got to the point to where Blu and Exile became a thing, became a name in hip hop. So my first question is, Below the Heavens is the first time that you guys collaborated together on a project to be released. How did you guys foster the type of relationship that you needed to make that project sound the way it did?
For me, it was like a wish list thing. You know what I mean? I heard Exile's production, and it reminded me of like my favorite producers at the time. It reminded me of Pete Rock, High Tech, Dilla. You know what I mean? Premier. So I was like, dude, if I work with this dude, I'm working with like, one of my, like a person who I think I could make the best music in my mind, the direction I wanted to go. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to do some like Slum Village, Little Brother, Reflection Eternal, you know what I mean? But I wanted to be like authentic, you know what I'm saying? And when I met X, he did the scratches. He would do like, he had the ill boom bap chops, but he would like flip it into some double time shit. Like he had like an innovative style that I never heard, you know what I mean? So I was like, man, I could really do something here. So for me, it was a wish list thing, So when I started working with X on the album, it was just trying to make something that both of us could rep, you know what I mean?
Okay. Exile, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, what was the question?
I feel like you covered it. But how did you guys foster an organic relationship together?
Oh, okay. Well, we would just kind of like geek out on music, and then, it was just him hearing my beats and seeing his reactions. Like I think he was like 19 at the time when he first started like hearing my beats, and just his energy, and his enthusiasm for hip hop, and how we spoke about it with each other. And then we went into the studio with each other, and after the first song we made, we started discussing the type of album that we wanted to make right away, pretty much. And yeah, we went in to start making it. And there was times where I think maybe the label was swaying for other producers to be involved, and it almost went other directions. But then, by the end of the day, or whatever you want to say, we created the album together, and I was definitely really hard on, like, I would say, I don't know if I was hard on him, but I was like, I just wanted to keep creating stuff. But I feel like he had the same energy back to me too. And we would just kind of listen to songs and like really talk about them and like talk about the album. Like, is this dope? Like sometimes we think it was a classic, sometimes we thought it was trash, but that just allowed us to fine tune it and throw away stuff that didn't really fit the vibe, or even like, even Blu had me knock out one of the songs that I really wanted to be on the album. And, it's just interesting how like, it's almost like we're both like chiseling away at this rock until it forms, Below the Heavens.
Well, let's thank the rap guys that you all were able to keep it where it was going to be Blu and Exile, because who knows how it would have sounded if different voices would have got on that project. You know what I mean?
Cheers.
So, well, you guys made some points, and some of the questions I was going to ask you kind of chipped at it, but I'm going to ask this. It sounds like you guys had similar interests as far as in rap, of what type of production and raps you like. And I'm going to ask, people associate you guys sound with soulful samples and everyday raps, right? how did you guys, I guess, get to the point to where you established what we know as the Blu and Exile sound of a certain type of production and certain type of raps? Was it something that just naturally happened, or was it something that came as a result of y'all time together?
I think part of it even has to do with the group I had before with Blu. I mean, with Aloe Black before I met Blu, and how I met Blu was from Aloe Black. But before Aloe was a singer, he was an MC. We had a group called Eminon, and I think there was similarities in how we created our albums. But I think we were able to pick up where we left off at one point and sharpen it and fine tune it at that time. I do have newer albums with Aloe where we do the same for ourselves too, but we're speaking about Below the Heavens. So I'm just saying, in a way, we picked up where Aloe left off in some sort of a way. And I always continue making albums where I, was doing the full production and in a classic form of, like, say Marley Marl or Primo or DJ Pooh or what have you, so.
I think the sound became signature after the third album, because the first album we established who we were, or our aim, for that album. And then the second album was almost an accident, but it was still in the same vein as the first album. Then the third album, I actually started rapping over Exile's trap production, and Exile scrapped that. He was like, nah, let's not do the trap stuff. Let's give the fans what they expect from us. Let's give them something like.
I was like, it's our responsibility, in a way, to continue in the light of the greats, and what did we want from them? What did we want from Gangstar? What did we want from,
Little Brother?
But yeah, so I think after that third album, we kind of cemented who we are.
Not to say that we were
our sound more so.
Definitely influenced by them, but just to say, in that same vein, do Blu and Exile, but in that light of fans, what would we want from our favorite artists? What would we want their next album to sound like? And I don't know. And I also felt like it's a responsibility just in the face of where a lot of hip hop is headed, to just create a balance with this sound, and also with Blu's lyricism that is, has so much depth and offers so much more than,
following a trend, you know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean, because we all kept mentioning, all of the greats that we look up to, we associate a sound with them, we associate a time with them, and it's the same when we listen to you all's music. When I heard Miles, I was like, yeah, this is carrying on the tradition, but it's still different.
That was the goal. Yep.
So then let me ask this then. I'll ask both of you guys, but Exile as a producer, in this day and time when times have changed, production has changed, tastes have changed, do you think producers need to have a signature sound to win? Back in the day, I know this is a Neptune's beat, or I know this is a Dr. Dre beat. When you hear it, do you need to have a signature sound now to be successful?
I think it helps, and I think it also helps to become more of a classic artist, I guess, but I still come from that. So it's hard for me to answer that question, because I'm not one of these brand new cats playing the game in the way it is in these days. But I don't know if it's exactly important as far as making hits and shit like that, but as far as the realm that we're in, I definitely think it is still important. It is still important. You got cats like Derringer coming out, or the Butcher. They got a signature fucking sound, and that is important, and they proved it because
successful.
Their shit's just crazy, and you know, or
Okay.
Alchemist,
But X does have some of the illest trap beats you've ever heard. You've never heard, bro. Like,
I was about to say, damn, I ain't never heard.
a lot of the shit that's out, dude. This dude got beats in the vault that are like killing, dude. You know what I mean? That's why I had to like at least try to rap on them shits. You know what I mean? But yeah, X got a classic sound for sure.
You know,
Okay.
yeah, I mess with all types of styles, and you know, I kind of just approach it more so like picking up where, you know, electro shit left off, or you know, continuing that vibe when I make styles like that. You know, Egyptian Lover, or you know, what have you.
Hell yeah.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, I think that was a pretty comprehensive answer to it, to be honest, because like you said, it's a different time and you can hit without having a signature sound, but to stay in there and to become a brand like y'all have, it's associated with a sound. Like we think of Primo, we know what we're getting, and it's the same with y'all. Um, well then let me ask this question then. Like we've talked a lot about you guys' sound, but let's ask this question. Like Exile, you came in the game and you were able to kind of get your name attached to different artists like Jurassic 5 and Cardinal Official, and Blu, you were able to kind of get some guest appearances as well. How were you guys able to kind of get your toes in the game? And what advice would you give to upcoming artists that are just trying to get a toe in the game to be able to even peek their head in?
Man, I would say, you know, what worked for me, because I was just trying to do the best that I could do personally, you know what I mean? And it ended up working, you know what I mean? So I would give that same advice: do the best that you can do, you know, like in your own mind, you know what I mean? What you think is your best, do that, you know what I mean? And for me, it was like, if we fail, like, I like the record. This is the record I wanted to create. You know what I mean? That's what was important when I was making it. You know what I mean? So the fact that it's successful, man, that just came, you know, that was just the gift, the gift from it. You know what I mean? From following my heart and mind. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think it's important. I mean, it depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about trying to make hits or just trying to make art that works, you know, if we're just talking about that, like find ears that you trust that are your friends and you know that they're going to tell you the real deal. Make music for yourself and make whack shit, make dope, you know, just to get your chops up, because the next one is going to be your dope one. Like, don't be afraid to make bad music, I think is important. And, but when you have those ears that you trust, you can even plan what you think is bad, and you'd be surprised about how much of that is actually good to from their perspective. And if you trust those ears, chances are those are ears, you know, of other people that haven't even heard the song yet, you know, where it will still translate the same way.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this question. I looked at an interview you guys said you had like 75 records that you guys managed to whittle down to 15. And I know you guys have talked about chiseling down. Is there a specific way that you guys do that? Because there were records that you wanted to keep Exile that didn't get kept. And I'm sure it may have been the same on the other end. Like, what's you guys' process for? Do you all just play a bunch of records and tally it off? Or how do you do it? Is there a group of ears that you guys trust to say, what do you guys think? Like, how do you guys determine what makes the final album cut?
Playing it for other people, but I think mostly for that first album, it was going back and forth between me and Exile. You know, we would do the same song over different beats. That's how we ended up getting about 75 songs. Some songs had like 3 different versions to them. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it was just, you know, what sounded the best. You know what I mean? And what fit on this, like, how much heat can we put on one record, you know, and make sure it's all cohesive. You know?
Damn, so y'all had 3 versions? Damn. So y'all had different versions of the same song, and we just
Not
never heard
a whole bunch, but a little bit.
Yeah, probably like, you know, 5 or 6 songs had different versions. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, because it's crazy. Like, yeah, like even the Below the Heaven songs, we had a different version of that, right? And then it just wasn't like, it was like, this is dope, but in the back of our heads, I think we knew it wasn't hitting right. And then I'll have this beat and I'll be like, yo, just try these lyrics on this. Just do it. Just try it, you know, or whatever. Like, he may not want to sometimes, but, or I mean, I guess that more comes from me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, and then so he respit the title track Below the Heavens to a different beat, like, you know, at the buzzer, you know, and fucking and
Nothing
switched
but
it.
That was one, like probably the last song we did on the album too.
Yeah, and it just fit. It just like fit. Like it captured the emotion of what he's saying so much more. You could, I mean, if you can find that other version, you'll know what I'm saying. And you know, I actually got one just like this. I'm trying to get Blu to do of a new joint we got. I'm like, come on, man, you got to do it to this beat, man. Come on.
Peer pressure, bro. Peer pressure, bro. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, for real.
It's like one more.
Damn. Okay. Okay. So I read somewhere where you guys, you know, I guess for obvious legit reasons, you guys only had like printed maybe like 3,500. I think I read like 3,500 copies of Below the Heavens Up. Like in hindsight, do you feel like that was like a purposeful mistake? Do you feel like it was a genius move, or was it just something that was out of necessity?
The label, what happened, they pressed up 3,500 CDs and then did another press of 3,500 CDs. The label actually went out of business as it was pressing up our CD. So we didn't get the vinyl like previous albums. There was an album on that label that had a booklet that was 75 pages. Our booklet of our first CD press was just one slit, you know what I mean? Front, back, like a flyer.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Even have the thanks in there, you know what I mean? It was just like a little, you know what I'm saying? They really did us wrong, but they didn't have any choice because they were going out of business. But at the end of the day, it ended up being their most successful album. You know what I mean?
So let me ask this question. And, you know, if I'm an indie artist, true, we don't press up CDs anymore. Do you think it's a smart ploy for a business or a rapper nowadays to like generate demand by doing like limited edition press ups? Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, like Mock Hami is like capitalizing on that, you know, doing like a limited press, selling them for like $300. You know what I'm saying? I had ideas like that back in the days, but I was fortunate enough to have independent labels that believed in me, you know what I mean? So that would press up my record, you know, press up thousands of the vinyl because they knew they would sell it worldwide, you know what I mean? So I appreciate, you know, the label hustle there, you know what I'm saying? But also you got to appreciate that independent, you know, do it yourself hustle too, you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. Okay, let me ask a generic question. Forgive me, y'all, but I've always wondered the inspiration behind your name Blu and the inspiration behind your name Exile.
Oh, well, I had gone through so many different names, and I'm a graffiti writer too. So my first name was Tadpole because I had a ducktail.
Oh shit! Have you said this in the interview? I feel like exclusive shit.
And then I was DJ Baby Huey.
Oh shit!
And then I wrote Loner as a graffiti name, and then I wrote Damage. And I was a DJ at the time, and I'm like, I don't want to be DJ Damage. I don't want to be DJ Baby Huey anymore. And you know, I was doing graffiti, so I was like, I want my graffiti name and my DJ name to be the same. And my boy is like, why don't you go by Exile? And I was like, that's hard.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I was and so I do graffiti, and I did graffiti as Exile. I still do every once in a while, and I was DJ Exile for a while, and then you know now I'm just Exile, and there you have it.
Man, I did not. This is some exclusive shit. I feel like it may not be, but it feels that way.
You want me to grow my ducktail back, don't you?
Hey man, do that. That shit would actually go hard as that time. My bad. Man. Let me be professional. My bad. Blu, go ahead. How did you get your name, bro?
All right. I was new to my school in 10th grade. And it just so happens my dad bought me, like he you know, got me some back to school gear. and I got all sky blue gear, you know what I mean, for like 2 weeks worth, you know what I'm saying? So when I went to this new school, I was playing basketball on the court. They didn't know what to call me. They'd be like, Blue, pass the ball, you know, and the name stuck in high school. But as a rapper, I started off as Iceman, and then I changed my name from Iceman, which is Madlib's first rap name too. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
Kind of hard. But no, I changed it. I changed it when I heard, like, when I started getting into Black Thought and Pharoah Monch and like the two name rap names, you know what I mean? So I changed it to Spitting Image. And right when I was getting out of high school, I joined a hip hop crew that kind of put me on. My manager was from this crew, and he was like, you should just go by Blue. That's what everybody knows you as, you know what I mean? And I was like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? He was like, trust me, Blue is hard. And so since I was like 18, I've been going by Blue just because he told me to, you know what I mean?
Damn, and you just dropped the E.
Yup.
Damn. Okay, I always heard the rapper shit. I was just like, but how did he come up on the name Blue itself, though? Okay. Damn. Okay. Exile, question for you. You mentioned Eminem. How did you meet Aloe Black, and why did you all decide to name the duo Eminem?
I was making mixtapes at the time, and I was freestyling a lot with my boy Jelly Bean, and I was like, "Yo, I want you to rap you should rap. I got these beats, like." And he's like, nah. He's like, you got to hear this kid, Chasm, and it was Aloe Black, and one day we just met up like at a parking lot at a diner, and I was like, all right, let me hear what you got, man. And I kicked the beatbox, and young Chasm just started spitting, and I remember bringing my 4-track over with this beat I had, and I plugged it up in his mom's kitchen, and we made our first song called Isolated Format. And yo, the shit still knocks. I gotta drop that song. It's still crazy. Aloe Black, the crew was on. Isolated Format is still a slapper. So, yep.
How'd you get the name?
Yeah, how'd y'all get Eminem?
Oh, Aloe made a song called "Call Me Eminem," and then we at the time it was just Aloe Black, and then I'd make this mixtape where I'm mixing everybody's stuff on one side, and there's Exile side. The other side was the Aloe Black side, where it was like our 4-track songs. And then I'm like, but I want to be a group, man. And so I'm like, yeah, we picked Eminem, which is basically from a Dizzy Gillespie record, and it's No Name backwards. So.
That's hard, bro. You knew that back?
Yeah.
Hard, yeah. Bro.
How the fuck did I not even see that till you said it? Like, damn.
That was No Name backwards?
Nah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, shout out No Name.
Yeah, shout out No Name. Damn, okay.
Bro, that's an old gem.
Damn, I know y'all are both jazz heads, because I've heard you talk not a lot just about Miles Davis.
When we made that first song, by the way.
Say that one more time.
Aloe Black was 16 when we made that first song.
Damn.
Yo, you gotta hear that shit. Aloe Black shit is flame, bro. Like, his spitting uncanny, bro.
And yeah, the 16-year-old shit is also like crazy. Like, he was rapping like OC, like at 16. And it's funny because I remember I got a call and they're like, yo, they're playing your shit on the Wake Up Show. And it was Talib Kweli, the Manifesto. Because they had a similar style and voice back then.
Yeah, for real.
But anyway, man, that's not us.
Yeah, I definitely,
but we've been a group, we've been doing that since 95. So I was selling tapes, 18 years old. I would pull up to like the hip hop clubs, even when I couldn't get in. I would just wait for it to get out, and I'd be like, yo, got the underground tapes over here. I got the mixtapes for sale. and I would just start slanging them. And then I remember the B-Boy Summit happened, and that's you know, I got to see a lot of cats that I looked up to at the time and trade tapes with them. And then that was pre-internet, you know, that's back when going viral was somebody dubbing the tape for somebody else and somebody dubbing the tape for somebody else. Like, oh, this shit's, you know, some underground shit. And then yeah, anyway.
Oh man, I was just listening. You dropping
So
some
yeah,
shit.
I was a hustle back then. There was no, yeah, I would stand and be like, yo,
check this.
$10. No, okay, $5. Trust me. I'd be like, you know, one side would have other people's stuff. So I'd be like, yeah, you know, it's got fucking, I don't know, Abstract Rude or like the Alcoholics and Portishead on this side, like, or like, and they'd be like, okay, shit, I fuck with that. And then they'd buy it off of that. But then we had our whole album on the other side. And that worked. And then a fan was like, yo, let me press that up on vinyl. They pressed it up on vinyl. And then that vinyl got in regular rotation at Power 106 in LA, getting spun by like J-Rock, and C- really broke that record. And it was like an underground hit. It would get played every Friday for like, I don't know, 6 months. And that was crazy for us, you know, so. Maybe.
Bro, that's some savvy ass marketing, man, that you just said. Like you guys shit on the other side of it, and they're just got shit like, damn, who is this? And giving you the pub that y'all need, and at the same, damn, that's some savvy ass marketing.
Yeah. And then I would also pretty much have the gift of gab to get a motherfucker to buy the tape too. I'm like, oh man, you gotta support, you know. This was before cats are, you know, on Venice or Hollywood Boulevard slinging CDs and shit. This is back in like, you know, before cats were doing that anyway. Back in like the Mystic Journeyman, like high road days. I don't know why I think of that. Or like Hobo Junction, they would, you know, be proud about, they called it dirt hustling, you know, like just slanging your tapes on the corner. And there was a pride for me as a teenager doing that. Like, that's right, I'm selling these fucking tapes. You better fucking buy one, you know. Like, anyway.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, Exile, you started speaking on it, and it made me think, man, like the era when you guys dropped Below the Heaven, like what was the LA underground scene like? Cause shit, LA at this point was recovering. You guys dropped this shit in the midst of LA having a completely different identity. So, like, what was the underground scene like? We hear a lot about like the underground open mic scene. But what was it like when you guys were dropping?
I feel like there's like a lot of just like G-Funk type shit, I feel like.
Yeah, like commercially it was a lot of G-Funk, but like Stone's Throw was getting it going.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
MED, Oh No.
Of course.
Strong Arm Steady mixtapes. Self Scientific was out killing it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Visionaries. It was some heads out, you know what I mean? It was some lyrical talent, you know what I mean? So it was like, for me, it was like a stepping into a war zone, you know what I'm saying? Got to put down that sword.
Of course, that.
So you guys, I'm assuming, just probably had to really tear down the open mic scene to kind of just get y'all's rep up in the city.
Definitely.
It was crazy for us because our album got leaked. And then next thing, people on the OK Player message boards, this is what really blew up Below the Heavens. They were just going nuts for it. So,
man, we were on tour and it got leaked on tour. We were in Texas. Somebody told me it leaked. 2 shows later, we were in Florida, and people knew the crowd knew all the words. This was in 2006, a year before the album dropped, and we had just mastered the album. So somebody got the master copy. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean?
Oh, rewind back. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, me and Aloe as Eminem would bring Blu on stage with us. He was like our secret weapon, but he was also like a hype man and shit.
Yo.
And
went to Europe for the first time.
So yeah, on the road, I think probably with Aloe and with Strange Fruit at the time. Shout out S1.
Yo.
This happened what Blu was talking about just now. So.
Yo.
Damn. So What made you guys decide? What made you guys decide to sign with Sound and Color?
Well, I actually one day, like I had all this music, I had all these beats, and I just wasn't really where I wanted to be. And I decided to, excuse me, walk into a record store and just play them what I got. And a record label, I mean.
Yeah.
So I figured out where Ubiquity Records was, and I'd go into Ubiquity Records, and there's this cat there. He's like, "Oh, yo, yeah, I know about Eminem. I know about you. Like, yeah, come and have this meeting with me." And I'd play him shit. And he's like, "Yeah, Ubiquity's cool, but I'm starting my own thing, Sound and Color." And he basically poached me. And, and I'm like, "All right." And so he told me about this Sound and Color shit, and I did like it was going to be a label that was based on instrumentals, not to say that instrumental hip hop shit hasn't been done before this, but this was like kind of the beginning of kind of the LA beat scene shit. I think was Sound and Color, they had the Ricky Ruckers, Gas Lamp Killer, they had Saw Ra, GB and Exile. That's me. And
shameless plug.
Yeah, so we would do we did an instrumental compilation, we did some singles, and then I was working on this album with just an Exile album called Dirty Science, where I'd have different MCs on it. And I had Blu on it. One of my favorite songs from Blu is on there called Fly. But the single to that was a Cardinal Official joint, and the B-side was Soul Amazing.
Yeah.
And then that's, so like I said, like we're recording for that. And then we did a single for Blu, A Narrow Path. If you see, it doesn't say Blu and Exile, it just says Blu. And then from there, I remember I wanted to produce Blu's album, and I just wanted it to be called Blu. And I'm so happy that Blu said, nah, it's gotta be Blu and Exile. And so, so you can thank Blu for that.
Loyalty held him down.
Oh, yeah.
Word up.
Damn. Exile, you mentioned it, and while you get in a moment, Blu, Dirty Science, the inspiration behind the name, and then who are the members in Dirty Science?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Hmm.
Well, my first mixtape was called Dream Sequence. And I had started like DS as like a graffiti crew also. And then back when I was like in junior high, me and my buddy were like, I want to start a record label. It's like, just like our young minds imagining, but I was a DJ already. I was scratching, and he's like, I'll be your record boy. Haha, we'd laugh or whatever. He's like, and we were like, the name's going to be Doggy Style Records. This is before Snoop.
What?
Yeah. And so I'm just mentioning that because that's still DS. So like, it was always like a DS. There's a bunch of different names: Dream Sequence, Dirty Science, Drifting Souls, Dystopians. Like, there's all kinds of different names. And and Dream Sequence was a crew, which was like Aloe Black, me, Blame One, this cat named Acapella, and this cat named Cylon. That was Dream Sequence, but that kind of like, some of those MCs stopped rapping, and me and Aloe kept doing our thing, and then we met Blu, and it was still kind of Dream Sequence, but it was also, but then the Dirty Science name came in and stuck, and
what made you call the album Dirty Science?
Thank you, Blu. Good ass question.
Yeah, right.
Just like chopping records, digging, and there's other meanings too, but Yeah, you know.
Now,
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Aloe Black, Blue, Cassius King,
Choosy.
Black Spade, Choosy, Johas, Dag Savage, Blame One, extended members, Surplus, Pistol McFly, Adad, Denmark Vesey, you know.
Did you say Fash?
Fashion, yeah, 100% at the top right there. I mean, in the first part, main crew. So.
Main crew.
My bad. I ain't mean to put you on the spot. I don't want Fast to text you later. Like, really, dog?
No.
Like, bro, I fuck with this shit too. I fuck with Fashion and Exile too. I don't want to get you.
Fashion.
Okay. I've read it in blogs, but I want to hear from you all. The inspiration behind the title Below the Heavens and what's its significance.
Like Exile said, with the imaginary record label in junior high, I was doing imaginary albums in high school. And me and my homie, we would just pass notebooks back and forth. Like, that would be our album, like a whole notebook full of raps, you know what I mean? And I came up with this basically, I've wanted to use the title since high school, you know what I mean? Below the Heavens. And it was a song I wanted to do, but I never created it. And I always kept that title and Gods in the Spirit, Titans in the Flesh, my album with Knots. That was also another title from high school, you know what I mean? And I just held on to it for a while. And when me and X started working on the album, I didn't have a title. I know I wanted to do an album called Hungry. I wanted to do an album called No Commercial Interruptions. But for some reason, I don't even know why I decided to roll with the Below the Heavens title. You know what I mean? And I talked to X about it. He said it was dope. And we started crafting around that. You know what I mean?
And also, in Hell Happy with your new imaginary friend, rewinding back to the second mixtape me and Aloe Black put out, it was called Imaginary Friends. And I'm pretty sure that was a nod to that.
Yes, definitely. And Below the Heavens meant like being underground. Heavens was like the mainstream, you know what I mean? So it was like a homage to putting out an underground album, you know, an independent album, Below the Heavens, you know what I mean? And it also meant like what the title song suggests, just being on Earth, like a day on Earth, you know what I mean? Below the Heavens.
Appreciate you giving me that context. Like I said, I read it, but I was like, man, I'm gonna ask this dude. I ain't finna go with this fucking interview that I read online. I'm gonna ask this dude.
Word.
So I know I've been taking up a lot of you guys' time. I'm about to start wrapping up. But I just wanted to know, you know, with 15 years coming up really soon and you guys probably in the midst of the tour, about to start the tour, what can listeners expect from the 15th that they didn't get from the 10th anniversary?
You got to come to the show to find out. You know what I mean?
You're not coming to Atlanta, man. That's what I'm saying, though. But I hear you.
We going to Atlanta?
We're going to work it out.
We're going to route over. You know what I mean?
Please do that, man. Please do that. Because Atlanta's underground. Like, Atlanta's love for underground and A3C and all that. It's just more people here that fuck with it than you would ever imagine over the last 15 years. Since in the time dropped it, it's a lot of people that would be like, fucking Blu is coming to Atlanta. Oh, shit. Fuck One Music Fest. I'm going to see him.
Yo, we get love out there, man. Definitely.
Okay. Last question. What projects or what works can people expect to hear from you guys this year? And I say you guys to say from wherever you guys both have.
For me, I would say check out the Fat Lip album we just dropped, you know what I mean? Live from the End of the World, the demos.
The Blu album.
The Blu album, The Color Blue, which dropped last year. You know what I mean? Those are my newest releases, you know what I'm saying? I am sitting on about 5 or 6 albums, but I'm gonna let those come out when they, you know what I mean?
I hear that.
Are you talking about albums out now or coming?
What you guys got coming?
Oh yeah, I mean, you're at least gonna get another Blu and Exile single this year, if not.
Oh yeah.
I ain't gonna press for no more. I feel like that was a gem and something to look forward to at the least, man. So
Word up.
man, like I said, I appreciate you guys doing this, man. I know I know y'all are busy, man. So we've been trying to pin you guys down for a minute, but I really appreciate it, man.